Hi, my name's Kevin Delaney. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be looking at a couple of drivers, one from slightly old and one that's brand new, and see exactly what the difference is in the technology and how it's moved on. So today we're looking at my old driver, Callaway Great Big Bertha driver, which I bought in 1997. Now, a couple of things happened in 1997. Will Smith starred in the film Men in Black. Leonardo DiCaprio was in the biggest film of the year in Titanic. The Labour government, Tony Blair, took over from 18 years of Tory rule, and he invested money into something called the Millennium Dome, which was thought to be a waste of time. The Spice Girls were the biggest band in the world. And the first Harry Potter book was released. Right, so now we fast forward to 2019. This is the latest driver on the market, which is the Callaway Epic Flash. Now, things that have happened, we've got the Millennium Dome is no more and it's called the O2, and the Spice Girls are reforming to sell that out. Harry Potter's gone on to make 9.2 billion at the box office and has spawned a spin-off series of films. And the Labour government's no longer in power, and we've got the Tories as we're exiting the European Union. So a lot's happened in that time. Now, the reason that we're looking at this is because when I bought this driver in 1997, this was the biggest jump in performance that I saw in a club. My old driver to this one, this was the first titanium headed driver that I had, and I saw a noticeable difference in performance. The shot characteristics, flight, distance and everything, but this is before we had an understanding on sort of spin rates. Launch monitors weren't really around, so it was a case of you bought a club, you used it and you thought that what you were doing was the right thing. I changed the shaft in it from the original RCH shaft that was in there, and I put in a Graph Ally Pro Light because I liked it. Now we have a far better understanding on spin characteristics and performance of golf clubs. So we're going to compare it to the Epic Flash. I've hit this driver. I've set this to the sort of characteristics that I like. Now, how I've fitted it and what I like. So this is the got the Tensai 65 shaft in it, 9-degree loft. I think I've increased the loft by a little bit and set it, which will make the club face sit a little bit open, but that suits me. And I've got the weight set into the toe to help keep the club face a little bit squarer through impact, just purely because that suits me. But the point of the exercise is to compare something that I thought suited me in 1997 to something that I know performs quite well for me now. And I'll be really interested to see when we put this on the launch monitor exactly what sort of numbers I get out of my old driver in comparison to the new driver. I haven't hit this in an awful long time, so I'll be interested to see how it goes, and we're going to take it on the course and see if there's a noticeable difference on performance when we're actually playing, and what the outcomes are. I'm not going to do this one alone. I've got my assistant coming out with me. He's going to hit a few shots with this driver as well. It'd be interesting to see because he wasn't even born when this driver was built and I bought it, so it'd be interesting for him to hit it and see what sort of numbers he gets out of it as well. Alright, so we've hit a couple of shots to warm up. We're going to start with the Great Big Bertha, hit a few shots with that and then see exactly what it is. Now, I think it's quite interesting to turn around and say 1997 the balls were completely different. Today we're using Pro V1s, which perform massively different to what I probably was using. I was using the old Titleist Professional or maybe even the Tourbillons, which were much more spinnier golf balls than what you're playing with today. Today we're using the Pro V1, so it'd be interesting to see what the old technology with the driver does with the new golf balls. Right, go on in, mate. Okay, so we are, see if you can bring that forward. This is good. Right, the swing speed at 101 and the spin rate slightly high at 2,381 on that. Right, okay, so go again, Harry. Let's see what this one is. Any good? It's alright. Right, so let's have a look. A little bit toey out to the right. I don't know how well you're going to see that. Yeah, it's lost distance. Slower swing, much slower. 93 mile an hour club speed. And 3,333 on the spin rate. That's high. Okay, so that's the Epic Flash. Completely different type of sound. Carbon crown. Flighting up, go. Right, so there you're probably it's about 10 yards longer, but the spin rate much lower. And again. There we go. Right, a little bit out to the right, so but again, spin rate, slower swing speed there. Club speed was 97 mile an hour, and the spin rate lower. Right, so that's really interesting. Watching those sort of numbers there, where I'd say there's not as big a difference in the total distance that you're hitting as what I was expecting from the Epic Flash to the Great Big Bertha. The Great Big Bertha actually performed well, but the spin rate was definitely a fraction higher, probably 300-400 revolutions per minute higher than what the Epic Flash was. So as a result, the Epic's going to go, a little bit longer. I would say, looking at that, the off-centre shots on the Great Big Bertha were definitely wider than what they were on the Epic Flash. The Epic being slightly more forgiving, probably. But I'm going to take this out on the course now, hit a couple of shots out there, and see what it looks like in sort of real time, really. Okay. Right, okay, so we're here at Foden Boys Golf Club. We're playing the 4th hole, par 5, slightly down breeze. I've got the Great Big Bertha. I'm going to hit this and let's see where it goes. Okay, so that's a good shot. Slightly up the right hand side of the fairway, but a nicely middled contact. Right, so this is the second shot. We've got the Epic Flash now. Ball's teed up. We're going to try and hit the same sort of shot. That's just up the right hand side there. Let's see where they are. Right, okay, so I've hit my shot up here. The Great Big Bertha, let's have a look, is here. So in relation to where we are in the fairway, pretty much central, so it's hit up the right hand side and then bounced down a little bit. The Epic, is forward. Bring it forward. We're there. Okay, so I'd say that's probably about 12-15 yards longer, which, considering the age of the clubs, I think the second one probably wasn't as good a shot. I did hit it a little bit cutty, so it's going to put a little bit more spin on the ball. It did block it a little bit, so it's going to lose distance. But considering one's in excess of 20 years old, and the other one's the newest, latest driver, there's not as vast a difference as what I thought there would be. The first one was definitely a better shot. The second one wasn't anywhere near as good a shot. It has gone longer. I've hit a few shots out here on the course, and the Great Big Bertha definitely spins a bit more. gain as much when it lands. I think in the summer there'd probably be, or like when the ground dries out, there'd probably be a bigger difference. You would see the ball bouncing and running a lot more in the summer than what you've got to do. We're still early spring, which is this is downwind, the ground's soft. I thought there would be a bigger difference than there is. I'm really genuinely quite surprised. Right, so we're here on the 12th hole. I bumped into a couple of members. We're going to hit a couple of shots with the old, well, they're going to hit a couple of shots with the old Great Big Bertha and just say what they think about it. Right, go on then, guys.
Funny noise.
It's different, isn't it? Different.
That was a terrible swing.
Right, here we go.
Thank you. Make contact with it.
Always a bonus. Make contact. That's a good thing.
That's a great shot.
Right, so 22 years old, that driver. What do you think, guys?
It doesn't feel a whole lot different to a 3-wood, funny
No,
enough.
size-wise, I mean, it is.
Yeah.
Profile of it does look like a 3-wood.
Yeah.
I think it's just surprising when you hit it. It's still quite good. There's not a massive difference between the new stuff and this. So yeah.
It feels a bit less forgiving.
I'd say that. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
As much as it didn't show for those ones. Yeah, mine was okay. Yeah. But, I mean, it just feels that, because of obviously the size of the new driver heads.
Yeah.
You just feel so much more confident with that.
Definitely.
Looking down with that. But it's very similar to the 3-woods.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good. Thanks, guys. Enjoy your round.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Cheers.
Okay, so we're back in from the course now. It's really interesting to have hit a few shots there. Certainly on the numbers on the Skytrack when you're hitting the Great Big Bertha, it spins a little bit more than the Epic Flash, probably at about 300 or 400 revolutions per minute more. I was expecting it to be a lot more than that. My recollection of hitting that driver was that it span a lot more than the flight. You didn't used to get a lot of roll out of it. I think that's changed. But the interesting thing was there, certainly on the course and on the numbers, there wasn't as big a difference in total distance that you were hitting between the two clubs. Assuming that you hit the middle of the club, the two drivers performed very, very well. I think that the Epic Flash is more forgiving, certainly on the off-centre shots. The spin numbers were better and the total distances were good. When you didn't hit the Great Big Bertha out the middle, it span a lot more and you lost a lot of distance. But assuming it was a good shot, middled and a good swing, the shot was good, the total distances that you were hitting. I think that the biggest difference that you're going to see is that the ball has made a huge difference. The Pro V1 as opposed to the old Bellatas and Professionals are far better. I haven't got any old Bellatas or decent Professionals to sort of test it. It'd be interesting to hit them with the new driver to see how that performs. I mean, certainly if you look back through my old videos and you look at reconditioned golf balls and stuff like that, you can see that they're not as good. And that's all I've got on those balls. I haven't got any decent quality Bellatas to compare. But I think the big difference is that golf swings have changed. The information that we now have access to with launch monitors and a better understanding of the golf swings have changed. Certainly for me, the old feeling of striking down and squeezing on the ball, you don't do that anymore. You hit up on it. I saw an interesting thing the other day that said that when TrackMan was first on tour, the numbers that the average on the men's tour was that the angle of attack was -1, so that they're hitting down on the ball. The average on the ladies tour was at +2. So the ladies had figured out that you needed to hit up on the ball to maximise distance. The men were still very much, the feeling was that you needed a low lofted driver, hit down on it, and a low ball flight to maximise distance. Now with the increase of technology that we've all got access to, we know differently. It's you now hit up on the ball, you reduce the spin rate to maximise the distance, and certainly my golf swing's changed. You know, that's the feeling that I go for. That you're going to hit up on the ball and try and get that, you know, rainbow flight or parabolic curve on the ball to maximise distance. So definitely my swing's changed in 22 years, but it's really interesting to get the old driver out and hit it against the new one. I mean, don't get me wrong, much as this performed well, I'm not going to put it in my bag. I'm still going to stick with the driver that I've got. But I didn't think that there was as huge difference in distance that warrants that, you know, that the passage of time you'd have thought that you'd have got. I mean, I think I'm right in saying that, you know, 22 years ago we were selling the Great Big Bertha for, I believe it was £179. The new Epic Flash is £459, so there's a massive difference in price, but for total distance I don't think that there's enough improvement in the club. They are better. Off-centre shots are better. I think it's interesting, you know, if you've got some old clubs, take them out and try them and see how you get on. It'd be interesting to see your thoughts. Yeah. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button, like it, share it through the social media platforms. That would be great if we could get this out there. Please leave any comments below. I'd be interested to see, you know, what driver you were using 20 years ago. Have you still got it? Can you take it to the driving range and test it and see what the difference is? Do you think that technology has moved on as much as it's perhaps advertised that it has? Yeah, it'd be great. Leave some comments, subscribe to the videos, hit the bell notification so you know when these things are going on. I hope you've enjoyed it.